Hello, everyone, and welcome to Health, your trusted source for tips and advice to help you live your healthiest life. If you're new to the channel, I'm so glad you're here. Be sure to hit that like button, share this video with your loved ones, and subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you more helpful content to keep you feeling great. Now, before we dive into today's topic, let me ask you, did you know that something as simple as the nuts you eat could significantly impact your health as you get older? Yes, that's right. Some nuts can actually help support your heart, brain, and bones, but others might be secretly doing more harm than good. Nuts to eat for optimal health. Almonds. As we get older, keeping our bones strong becomes more important, and almonds can be a game changer. Almonds are packed with calcium and magnesium, two nutrients that work together to support bone health. Calcium is essential for bone density, while magnesium helps make sure that calcium reaches your bones and doesn't clog up your arteries. This is especially important for seniors, since our bodies don't always balance these minerals as well as they did when we were younger. Personally, I started eating almonds every day after I turned 65, mainly because I was worried about osteoporosis and my bone health. Just a small handful, about 15 to 20 almonds a day, has made a noticeable difference. I've felt stronger and haven't had the same joint pain that a lot of my friends have been dealing with. It's been a simple change with a big impact. Almonds are also great for digestion. Many older adults struggle with constipation, but almonds are high in fiber, around 3-5 grams per small handful, which helps keep things moving. Before I added almonds to my routine, I had more digestive issues, but now I feel a lot more regular and comfortable. It's a small change, but it's made a huge difference in my daily life. For the best results, eat raw or dry-roasted almonds without added salt. And if you can, eat them with the skin on because the skin has antioxidants that support brain health too. I'd love to hear from you. Have you tried almonds yet? How have they helped with your bone health or digestion? Let's share our experiences and help each other live healthier lives. Walnuts. Walnuts are often linked to brain health because their shape resembles the human brain, but there's more to them than just their appearance. These nuts are an excellent source of omega-3 fatty acids, particularly alpha-linolenic acid, ALA. Omega-3s play a crucial role in supporting cognitive function, aiding neurotransmission, and maintaining brain cell integrity. For seniors, this is especially beneficial in helping to keep our brains sharp as we age. Since I started incorporating walnuts into my daily diet, I've noticed that I can focus better and process information more easily. Research shows that eating walnuts can help improve mental flexibility and cognitive speed, which can become more challenging as we get older. If you've noticed that it's harder to stay sharp, adding walnuts to your routine might just give you the boost you need. One of the biggest advantages of walnuts is their ability to protect against neurodegenerative diseases, such as Alzheimer's. Walnuts help reduce brain inflammation, which is a key factor in the development of conditions like dementia and Alzheimer's. There's a growing body of research that suggests seniors who regularly eat walnuts experience slower cognitive decline than those who don't. It's reassuring to know that a simple dietary change like eating walnuts could potentially help prevent or manage these conditions. Additionally, walnuts are a natural source of melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. As we get older, our bodies produce less melatonin, which can lead to sleep problems. I personally struggled with getting a good night's sleep, but after adding walnuts to my evening snack, I've noticed a significant improvement. A small handful of walnuts before bed has made it easier for me to fall asleep and stay asleep. For those of you who have already made walnuts a part of your diet, how have they impacted your sleep or mental clarity? I'd love to hear your experiences and share them with others. Pistachios. Pistachios are a great snack for seniors looking to keep their blood pressure in check. They're high in potassium, which is essential for balancing sodium levels and supporting kidney function. As we age, our kidneys can become less effective at processing sodium, which can lead to higher blood pressure. The potassium in pistachios helps to counteract this by encouraging the kidneys to eliminate more sodium, which may help lower the risk of hypertension. Personally, since I've added pistachios to my daily routine, I've noticed a positive shift in my blood pressure readings. My doctor has even commented on how my numbers are looking better. I really believe eating just a small handful of pistachios every day has contributed to this improvement. If you're concerned about your blood pressure, pistachios could be the perfect snack to help you stay on track. But pistachios aren't just great for blood pressure. They're also good for eye health. They contain carotenoids like lutein and zeaxanthin, which are known to protect against age-related macular degeneration, a major cause of vision loss in older adults. I used to struggle with eye strain, especially when reading for long periods. But since I started eating pistachios, I've noticed that my eyes feel less tired and more comfortable. It's made a difference, and I find it easier to focus on tasks like reading or doing puzzles. One of the unique benefits of pistachios is the shelling process. Unlike other nuts that you can just grab and snack on, pistachios require you to shell them before eating. This helps slow down your consumption, making you more mindful about how much you're eating. I've found that this slower process helps me avoid overeating, which is important as we age. It also provides a bit of a mental exercise, keeping the mind engaged. If you haven't tried pistachios yet, would you be willing to give them a try? I recommend starting with a small handful each day and seeing how it affects your health. For those of you who have been eating them regularly, what other benefits have you noticed, especially with heart health or vision? Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are an excellent choice for seniors, especially when it comes to thyroid health. These nuts are packed with selenium, a vital mineral that plays a key role in activating thyroid hormones, which are crucial for regulating metabolism, energy, and mood. As we age, many of us may face thyroid issues, which can lead to fatigue, weight changes, and mood swings. Selenium helps support thyroid function, ensuring these hormones are working properly, and can even help balance our moods, which can often fluctuate with age. Personally, I started eating Brazil nuts after learning about their benefits for thyroid health. In my 70s, I was starting to feel more fatigued and noticed changes in my mood, which I thought might be linked to my thyroid. After I began incorporating Brazil nuts into my diet, just one or two a day, I noticed a gradual improvement in my energy levels and overall mood. It's not a quick fix, but over time, I've felt more balanced and less sluggish. That little change has made a big difference in how I feel every day. Aside from supporting thyroid function, Brazil nuts also help maintain the integrity of nerve cells. As we age, our nerve cells can deteriorate, which impacts reflexes, reaction times, and cognitive functions. The healthy fats and antioxidants found in Brazil nuts help protect and preserve these nerve cells, which are essential for our overall nervous system function. I've also noticed that since adding them to my diet, I feel quicker to react and more mentally sharp, which is a big help when it comes to daily tasks like driving or managing household chores. However, it's important to be mindful of how many Brazil nuts we eat. Because they are so rich in selenium, it's easy to go overboard. Selenium is beneficial in the right amounts, but consuming too much can lead to selenium toxicity, which can cause symptoms like nausea, hair loss, and fatigue. To avoid this, I recommend limiting yourself to just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day. I personally stick to 2 a day, and that seems to be the sweet spot for me. Have you noticed any changes in your energy or mood since adding Brazil nuts to your diet? How do you incorporate them into your daily routine? Nuts to avoid for senior health. Peanuts. Peanuts, while often seen as a simple and convenient snack, can actually pose several health risks for seniors. First, it's important to note that peanuts are technically legumes, not true nuts, and because they grow underground, they're highly susceptible to mold. This mold produces aflatoxins, which are toxic compounds that can harm the liver and increase the risk of cancer. Over time, exposure to aflatoxins can add up, causing long-term health problems, which is especially concerning for older adults whose liver function might already be weaker. I used to enjoy peanuts regularly, thinking they were a healthy option, but after learning about the risks of aflatoxins, I decided to cut them out of my diet. The idea that something so commonly consumed could silently harm the liver was alarming. Since I stopped eating peanuts and switched to safer options like almonds and walnuts, I've felt more confident in my food choices. I make sure to avoid peanuts entirely now, especially after learning about their mold risk and potential long-term effects. Additionally, peanuts are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which, although beneficial in moderation, can create an imbalance in the body when consumed excessively. Omega-6 fatty acids promote inflammation, and many of us already get too much omega-6 in our typical diets. For seniors, this imbalance can make conditions like arthritis, cardiovascular disease, and joint pain worse. I personally noticed that after cutting back on peanuts and replacing them with omega-3 rich nuts like walnuts, my joint pain decreased, and I felt less inflammation overall. Peanuts can also interfere with certain medications. For seniors who take blood thinners like warfarin, peanuts can be a concern due to their high vitamin K content. Vitamin K can interfere with how blood thinners work, potentially increasing the risk of blood clotting or bleeding. I've experienced firsthand how food can affect the medications I take, so I've learned to be more cautious about what I eat, especially when it comes to things like peanuts. Have you noticed any issues with inflammation or blood thinners from eating peanuts? How have you adjusted your diet to avoid these risks? Cashews. Cashews, despite being tasty and popular, may not be the best choice for seniors, especially those dealing with diabetes or prediabetes. They are relatively high in carbohydrates and low in fiber, which can cause significant spikes in blood sugar levels. As someone in my late 70s, I've become more mindful of how certain foods affect my blood sugar, and cashews were something I had to reconsider. When I consumed them, I noticed that my energy levels would fluctuate, leaving me feeling more tired and sluggish, especially after meals. This can be particularly concerning for seniors with diabetes, as it's important to keep blood sugar levels stable to prevent complications. One of the reasons cashews can cause these spikes is their low fiber content, which means they don't slow down the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream. For someone like me, who's learned to monitor blood sugar carefully, I've switched to nuts with higher fiber, like almonds, which help to regulate sugar absorption and prevent sudden spikes. I've noticed that I feel much more stable throughout the day when I choose nuts that offer more fiber. In addition to their impact on blood sugar, cashews are also high in oxalates, compounds that can interfere with calcium absorption. This can be particularly problematic for seniors who are already at a higher risk of osteoporosis and need to maintain proper calcium levels for bone health. Oxalates bind to calcium and prevent it from being absorbed by the body, which can lead to weaker bones over time. I experienced this firsthand when I was trying to manage my calcium intake for better bone health, but found that eating too many cashews might have made my calcium absorption less effective. Switching to nuts like almonds or Brazil nuts helped improve my calcium absorption and kept my bones healthier. Another concern with cashews is their smooth texture, which can make them a choking hazard, especially for seniors with swallowing difficulties or reduced muscle strength in the throat. I remember once when I had a minor issue swallowing a cashew, and I realized how dangerous even small food items can be. For seniors, choking risks are something we should all be aware of. If you or a loved one have swallowing difficulties, it might be better to opt for nuts that are easier to chew, like almonds or walnuts, which are less likely to get stuck in the throat. Have you noticed any issues with blood sugar spikes after eating cashews? How have you adjusted your diet to avoid these risks? Macadamia nuts. Macadamia nuts, while flavorful and rich, aren't the best option for seniors when it comes to heart health. These nuts are extremely calorie-dense, meaning even a small handful can pack a significant number of calories. For seniors whose metabolism naturally slows down with age, this can lead to weight gain. I've personally noticed that when I started paying more attention to my calorie intake, cutting back on high-calorie snacks like macadamia nuts helped me maintain a healthier weight. Macadamia nuts are also high in fat, particularly saturated fat, which can raise LDL cholesterol levels, the bad cholesterol. High LDL levels are a known risk factor for heart disease, and as we get older, it's more important than ever to keep our cholesterol in check. I learned this the hard way when my cholesterol levels began to rise, and my doctor advised me to reduce foods high in saturated fat. After cutting back on macadamia nuts, I saw gradual improvements in my cholesterol numbers. Another issue with macadamia nuts is their effect on oral health. Their dense, hard texture can be difficult to chew, especially for seniors who may have dental issues like loose teeth, crowns, or dentures. I've had my own struggles with this, trying to chew macadamia nuts only to realize they were hard on my teeth. For those with sensitive teeth or dental work, these nuts could pose a risk of discomfort or damage. Since then, I've switched to softer nuts like almonds or pistachios, which are easier to chew and gentler on the teeth. Finally, because of their high calorie and fat content, macadamia nuts can contribute to weight gain if eaten in large quantities. Managing weight becomes more challenging as we age, and it's important to be mindful of how calorie-dense foods like macadamia nuts can quickly add up. I've found that by switching to lower-calorie snacks, I can better manage my weight while still enjoying healthy, satisfying snacks. I'd love to hear from you. Have you experienced challenges with weight or cholesterol after eating macadamia nuts? How have you adjusted your snacks to support heart health? Pine nuts. Pine nuts might seem like a harmless snack, but for seniors, they can be surprisingly risky. These nuts can interact with over 60% of prescribed medications, including common ones like blood pressure medications and statins. This can either reduce the effectiveness of these medications or cause adverse side effects. I personally found this out when I started eating pine nuts while taking medication for high blood pressure. I noticed my blood pressure readings became more erratic. After discussing it with my doctor, I learned that pine nuts were likely interfering with the medication, which led me to cut them out of my diet. For those of us managing multiple medications, it's essential to be cautious about what we eat and how it could affect our prescriptions. Statins, for instance, are prescribed to help manage cholesterol, but they can become less effective when consumed with foods like pine nuts. After I stopped eating pine nuts, I saw a noticeable improvement in the stability of my cholesterol levels. Another concern with pine nuts is pine nut syndrome, a condition that causes a metallic taste in the mouth, which can last anywhere from a few days to a week. This can be particularly troubling for seniors because it often leads to a loss of appetite. I had my own experience with this after eating pine nuts. The odd metallic taste made it hard for me to enjoy food, and I didn't feel like eating much for several days. This can be especially problematic for older adults who might already have a reduced appetite. Additionally, pine nuts are high in polyunsaturated fats, which can oxidize quickly and produce inflammatory compounds. This could aggravate conditions like arthritis, something many seniors deal with as they age. I'm curious, has anyone else experienced changes in your medication effectiveness after eating pine nuts? Or perhaps you've dealt with the metallic taste or appetite loss from pine nut syndrome. How did you manage it? And did you find any better alternatives? I'd love to hear your stories and see how others have navigated this issue. Let's share and learn from each other. And there you have it. Now you know which nuts are truly beneficial for seniors and which ones you should avoid to maintain your health. Whether you're looking to protect your heart, boost your brain, or strengthen your bones, making the right nut choice is essential as we age. Remember, small changes in your diet, like switching up your snacks, can have a huge impact on your overall well-being. Thanks for watching, and remember, your health is in your hands. Let's make those healthy choices together. See you in the next video.